to BBC Radio London's Breakfast Show with me, Vanessa Feldt. And as we come to terms with the reality of reduced daily contact and possible self-isolation, a city in China has been hailed as a success story in its prevention efforts. Nanjing, which is around 300 miles from Wuhan, where the outbreak began, reported 94 cases, but there have been as yet no deaths and no new cases for several weeks now.
Nanjing's efforts at epidemic prevention may have been a great success, but there is never a time for complacency. As an international gateway, it's imperative that Nanjing maintain some degree of connectivity with other cities and other countries, while keeping in mind the possibility for COVID-19 reinfections. This is Nanjing Lukou International Airport. It's a major hub. A lot of these people you see behind me are going on holiday. It's May Day tomorrow.
Cities in China are divided into districts that are divided into sub-districts that in turn are divided into residential communities. From an epidemic prevention standpoint, this creates an effective system of quarantines within quarantines. Each residential community shut down all but one of its entry points, while checks on every individual entering a compound reduce the likelihood of infection.
I'm also part of this community. I live here, and there was a time I came outside and I saw people here. They were doing this, taking temperature for the people. So I decided to come and ask the people if I can join. So they said, okay, you can come and join us because we need people. They were so happy and also very surprised. Every time I stand here, I take a temperature for the people. They were like, wow, foreigners doing this? They were always surprised and happy to see me doing this job.
China's population is absolutely huge. Now that's made widespread testing and practicality. On the other hand, in its urban centers, what we know as social distancing is an absolute impossibility. A workable solution, though, was found in a combination of making the wearing of face masks mandatory together with widespread body temperature testing en masse. This is Xinjiang metro station. It's one of the biggest metro stations in the world. There are no less than 24 entrances into this place. That's where this not so little gizmo comes in.
In addition, the Jiangsu Health Code app was developed with traffic light risk assessment. Only those people with a green code are granted access to public spaces. With such initiatives bringing the numbers of COVID-19 cases down dramatically, so Nanjing gets back to work. It's a fine balance, the resumption of production combined with continued epidemic prevention efforts.
We did take a hit in terms of the immediate testing, which was just stopped for, I think, 2 or 3 weeks. And then towards the later part of February, a limited number of people were, coming back. We had about 60 people in the development center coming back and, slowly, step by step, switching it on. But the prime priority was, safety of our people, making sure that we, follow the protocol, the hygiene requirements, and, anybody that was able to work from home with their connectivity, well, we told them just to stay at home because everybody was efficient anyhow.
We developed a tool called the Daily 3-day health check survey on the WeChat, and we send it to everybody. This is a very powerful weapon for us to understand where our employees are, how healthy are they, and whether they need any help. I'm surprised how quickly the government acts, because this is unprecedented. And from the Wuhan lockdown, I was shocked. This is a big decision, and how the local government played the role in the process also impressed me a lot. I won't say they are well prepared ahead, but they act very fast, very agile, and based on the situation, they have a very quick decision-making process. It's much quicker than normal.
China definitely put the well-being of its people first, with taking a chance on economic sacrifices. So after having restrictions for a couple of weeks, months, after there was a clear cut, and China said, okay, now we can open again, we're free of infected. That's really good also for me as a self-employed business owner in China. It makes me trust the system a lot.
Normally we have ongoing education courses for our members, which are taking place in our offices or in offices of companies, and now we are supplying basically the same thing, maybe even more, by webinars. I think this was a big opportunity for us to basically learn very fast how to handle it. We managed to have a very fruitful webinar with the government in Nanjing. And I was really surprised that a lot of different departments of the Nanjing government was really prepared to spend, I would say, 2 hours with us on a webinar. And we had more than half of our members to attend it. And it was a very frank discussion. Absolutely surprising, helpful. Everyone could raise questions, and the questions which couldn't be answered during the webinar were answered in writing by the relevant departments.
COVID-19 created all kinds of problems for business here in China. One of the things we needed to do quickly was to consolidate information and separate out the rumors from the information that was really useful and timely. Every business is different. Every business is different and needed different types of permits in order to reopen. And so the issue was really in helping the government to understand what the individual situation was with individual companies and why they needed to reopen so quickly. In some situations, we had different permits and different requirements based on the industry. And so there was a bit of translation that had to take place in communicating the requirements of what the government required in order to reopen, and then what the company needed to do in order to fulfill those requirements.
While children in primary schools stayed home enjoying their online PE lessons, it was back to class for the older ones. Nanjing's international schools were among the first in the world to reopen their doors to students. With the return of children in high schools phased by grades, social distancing is the key term here, from the lunch hall to the classroom. Children do not have ID cards and so cannot use the health code app. And so it's temperature checks all round each morning to gain access to the campus. Such a staggered return to school for different year groups has allowed for prioritizing those with upcoming exams or grading in place thereof. Fully 10% of the Nanjing populace are students, and there's a healthy dose of foreigners among them. Nanjing rose to the challenge of getting them back into the country and back on campus, while making sure everyone is healthy and not a risk to each other.
This here is the Nanjing International Healthcare City. The name implies that there are a huge amount of international standard healthcare facilities here. It's true. And it's just one of many such facilities in Nanjing, which are today here for the general well-being of the populace, but also in case of an emergence of COVID-19 reinfections.
We found quality in China, no problem. But with a factory, the best factory in China is very busy, and she don't have time to delivery. But if you have a good relationship, you can find a medium factory in same quality, and the delivery time can be shortly than the big factory in China. This is very important to see the factory, to see the product. But when you don't have time, many buyers prefer buy directly and shipping.
在这样的基础上呢，2月4号，在开发区领导的关心下，公司全面的复工复产。我们生产了小儿感冒书、小柴胡颗粒，捐赠给了武汉的疫情重点区域，捐赠给了我们的江苏地区以及周边的所有地区急需的防疫物资。我们捐赠的物资除了我们的药品，还有我们的酒精、我们的口罩等一系列，以及我们对外国友人也进行了一系列慷慨的帮助。
As a Chinese, we do not think as a sacrifice. We think it's a humanity. It's kind of passion and feeling, the sympathy. What we can do is to extend our hands.
네, 안녕하세요. 난징시 본부 의사판공실입니다.
아, そうなんですか. 今は空港にいますか?
Спасибо за понимание.
Hello, this is the Foreign Affairs Office of the Nanjing Municipal Government. How can I help you?
Nanjing can get back to work and people can now once again eat in restaurants. But of course there's more to that. The bigger picture is that the epidemic impacts all parts of society. We've come out here to the countryside of Nanjing to see how a unique organization is helping to restore to normality the lives of disabled children.
Psychologically, it is very important for them, like staying for a long period of 2 months at home. Then after that, it is must for them to come out. Normally, they come out like once a week. Once a week, we have activity. They come out. So today they are coming out after 2 months, and I believe it is very refreshing for them. So that's why we organize this activity.
I think Chinese people are working together. They're always together. They listen their government, the laws, the regulations. They always follow the rules. So I think that everyone needs to, not only for themselves, also for the worldwide, to the world, we have to deal with it together.
While people remain wary, life, in Nanjing at least, to all intents and purposes, has returned to normal.